Hey everyone, welcome to the Beyond All Cloud series. Amit, after the second chapter, we have established what's the major problem statement that Awake is handling. Now, the third chapter, that is Believe in Yourself, is dedicated on what the solution would look like. We have established the problem statement, its huge impact on people's life, on businesses, and everything else that internet has to offer. Now, when it comes to solution, you mention something like a protocol. That's that's a keyword that you use, and like, do shed a light on what do you mean by protocol first.
Well, a protocol is how you do something, right?
Yeah.
So what is the protocol to define protocols?
Oh, okay.
Right? So if you can build,
Yeah.
so everyone's talking about protocols, right? And it's mixing the idea of a protocol with the blockchain, which is kind of, it is what it is. But the protocol itself is what's important, not the technology implementation. And therefore, it is not even so much important about the protocol. It's really about the people who define the protocol. Otherwise, why are they defining it? Right?
Yeah.
They're defining it in order to collaborate and to, work together. Otherwise, there is no need of an open protocol. It's proprietary protocol. There's no need to talk about it at all, So the only reason you talk about a protocol is because it's social. It's for other people.
Yeah.
Right? So that's where we remain. We stay at the Web 0 layer, which is the user layer. And we continue to define protocols that capture how we work with each other in various ways. And as long as you have a machine that can capture this, what I just said, a way to capture protocols, which then run on a functioning internet, a protocol is really a network or a social program, in a way, a smart contract, if it is on a blockchain, for example. But it's really just a definition or a contract between people, right? That's what it really is defining.
Yeah.
In a legally enforceable way, if you want it to be a legal contract, or at least a technology contract, which means an API or some expected behaviors and responses and inputs and so on, right? So that's about it. I mean, the internet, which is not functional today, HTTP, is a specification. It requires lots of compatible servers for you to run an HTTP network. And it requires browsers that are also able to understand HTTP, right? So people have already built certain things. You can connect on generic levels, but it doesn't do anything. Each network or app has to do things that it wants to do, right? There's no generic way of doing certain things. And the generic way at the internet level, I mean, right? It's not functional. It's not, doesn't have any state, for example. There's no memory, right? You can't, internet doesn't remember things, right? It's the cookies and it's the back server-side stuff that makes the data happen, right? So this is just pure play connectivity. The connectivity doesn't have a functional layer. It's just pure play connectivity. It has nothing. The functioning is happening at the node points, right? The users are doing something or software is doing something. So what if you can change that, right? What if you had a functioning internet which could do a bunch of basic stuff like buying and selling and referring and publishing and all the things, sharing and curating and syndicating and whatever else you do on the internet, basic stuff, content, community, commerce. Few key functions should be supported at an inter-networking layer. If that were possible, then we could define protocols. And then in the first iteration, you would have to have somebody build the protocols into software and do all of that stuff. But in the second and third and fourth iterations, you could build software that builds software because it's just a specification.
Yeah.
Which is taking a spec and compiling it into another software, which is, for example, a smart contract, or not a smart contract, just regular software. We want to keep it, open in the sense of you can use any Turing complete language to program this universe. It is totally open and yet secure. It is totally private and yet public. How the internet was designed, right? So if you had a functional internet, functional means not that it doesn't work, it does work, but the functions are very limited. It simply connects, it doesn't do anything beyond that. But the basic functions are being rebuilt everywhere: buying, selling, sharing, curating, publishing, syndicating, consuming, right? That's of course users consume. So that's being built, rebuilt in all apps in the application layer, right? Layer 7. That's why I like to joke that we are a layer 8 protocol or a layer 8 solution, right? Because there are only 7 layers in the OSI stack, which is the application layer as a 7. That's why the app economy became so big over the last 20 years, right? Or whatever, number of years. The app economy, application economy, the application layer, where on the phones it restarted that. It restarted. Internet was always around. You could have applications, but about 2007, 8, whatever that iPhone does, that mobile apps exploded, and they call it the app economy. It's still the same layer 7 only. It's still HTTP. It's still it's Web 0, whatever, Web 1 or 2, whatever. Now they're saying Web 3, but it's still the same everything, internet. So we keep redefining and doing new things each few years, and it gets shorter each time. Now it's what I'm saying is also nothing new actually, because we are saying that look, the new layer is not this. So it's not just apps, but they're functional networks that are the the networking layer for the people. Web 0 networking at the user layer, that interactivity and exchange between nodes should be a function of the internet itself. You see? So if it was the function of the internet itself, then any app or if Safeway, a grocery store called Safeway in the US, and JetBlue, the airline, if these two guys are both connected to the internet, why can't I use my Safeway points to pay for a JetBlue flight? I can't, because even though they're on the same internet, they're not functionally interoperable.
And
they don't understand each other. There's no protocol between these companies. Right? So what if we were to build a new layer that's only built on protocols and is an open network for marketing and commerce and sharing and all the basic things we just talked about on the internet? An open internetwork that was built on top of and to bridge the existing networks in the empty cyberspace of the current internet, right? So if we did that, then we would have a way to go from idea to protocol to test in the market in a jiffy. We would have all the machinery needed to launch a protocol-driven, network or platform where you could test very quickly if people are making money. And because this is commerce, we're talking about commerce right now. There are many use cases. I'm just talking about ShopType because that's kind of where we are focused, and so on, which is really retail, which is B2B2C ultimately, right? Because retail requires you to buy from business, and then that requires you to buy from other business. So that whole chain has to be understood into a single network of networks, right? And when you do that, you're talking in functional and in recursive terms, right? Recursion, which means, who do I buy from? I buy from a seller, right? But the seller is also a buyer from another seller, right? So we don't need to worry about the whole chain if you can understand really buyer and sellers at a functional level. Because any chain is the same after that. It's a recursive buying and selling process. Right? So why you need to say, oh, but it's got this complicated things, like, but all of them are just buy-sell transactions.
Basically, they're buy-sell transactions,
So why not build something that understands this very simple concept and simplifies the whole universe? Because today it's like, geez, I got to build everyone's building their own ideas of what something looks like, which is fine, right? Everybody should. But it's not interoperable and it's not, interconnected, even though they're on the same internet. So you're actively pursuing a strategy of, disconnectedness rather than interconnectedness.
That
right?
makes sense.
So that's all it is. So ultimately, to fix all the problems, we need to just a better model on which people can build for themselves. And of course, we want to build, so we're building it, and we're eating our own dog food because the only reason we build anything is because we use it. We use it for something.
Right?
Otherwise, just ideas. Or you might use it for like this. No, if you think it's so great, then use it, and then give me the benefit of it, and charge me for the benefit. That's fine, right? Charge me an upside benefit, right? If it's so great, then do it for us together. and let's share on the upside. Why you need to come and tell me that I should do it?
Yeah, exactly.
Right. So just do it then, right? So this is the world of eating your own dog food for absolutely anything. Right. And then building that out as a protocol, which works not just for you and your network and community, but it's a protocol. It works for anybody. And then you make it available as a very basic functional layer, which can be incorporated into each other because they're composable protocols. Right. The combinatorial expansion or explosion that you get each time you add a new function, which can compose with other things which are already there, is incredibly huge. People don't understand this type of productivity.
Yeah.
I guess the one person that probably does understand is Paul Graham from like Y Combinator, because he used to be a Lisper. He used to write code in Lisp. And so, that's literally these higher level or meta level concepts are not anything new in that. You think in functional terms, you think in meta object protocol terms, right? And the whole universe, your whole environment, which is nothing but your runtime, which is the world, is the runtime, a decentralized distributed runtime, which is all the people who are doing things based on inputs and outputs. And of course, computers that are simulating intelligence by also doing algorithmic input and output. And so the whole universe is nothing but a set of interconnected computing devices or functions, I should say, not devices, because people aren't devices, but we are functions of our input, and we produce some output, as do computers. And we have a sensory network with which we perceive the world. Right? Our senses, just like you're creating sensors, for various things, and the IoT and this and that. We're trying to understand what's going on through sensors, right? And same model, exactly the same model. We represent the universe with data, and then we process the data in terms of responding, and that's about it. We impact the state of the world when we take actions, right? So this
you also mentioned you also mentioned that it's difficult for people to actually understand that what this is or what you're talking about. How did you find people in our team, or people who are currently in our team, who actually understand this and like totally are on board with this?
I mean, there's multiple things there. One, of course, was finding the first 2-3 people who get it, right? I mean, I think Naveen, co-founder at SharpType, obviously, an advanced mind, let's call it, right? I wouldn't say that it's other people don't understand it, but everybody understands things at a level of abstraction that they're at. How much of the world you understand is based on your abstraction level. Obviously, no one can go and know every single thing out there, or meet every single person, or meet or see every object. But you develop an abstraction layer, which informs you about what's out there, without actually going and seeing everything. Right? That's what we model the universe. So whoever can raise their level of abstraction to a point where they begin to understand the inner workings of things and the interconnectedness of things and how things really function, then they begin to see the truth of this. This is not complicated. It's very, very simple. So in a lot of ways, you have to be uncomplicated to understand this. Like regular people who don't have all this complicated mindsets and Wall Street thinking and like Silicon Valley, blah, 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 are just the normal people on the street who are, say in India, who have like little shops and they're doing their little trade, they're selling tea or whatever it is. If you go and tell them what is business, they will tell you, it's very simple. You make money this way, there is a P&L, and it's not a complicated thing. They're not like some entrepreneurs that are out there and, whatever. Entrepreneurship is not a complicated thing. It's a very simple thing. We make it complicated.
Exactly.
Because we have these grand ambitions of some, it's not about adding value now. It's about some future outcome for oneself. Right? It's never about, for the people who want to make an impact, they don't care about this. They just make the tea They need the money, or somebody needs tea, or somebody has an itch and a problem and they go out there and solve it because they're passionate about it. Then everything else is a side effect. What other people call success or failure and blah, blah, blah is only a side effect based on other people's point of view. For the person doing it with a full passion, he doesn't even, he or she doesn't care about all this, whatever people are talking about. They have a clear vision about what they want to do, even if it's art, because who cares about your interpretation of my art?
It's my art.
It's what I'm building, finished, end of story.
Yeah.
It's for the sake of itself. Not for the sake of oneself or somebody else or any other. It's for its own sake. And if you can do that, then there is that's a protocol. You're not doing it because who's going to use it. This is the protocol of how things are done. That's all.
Yeah.
Right.
So very straightforward. Simply.
Yeah. So if you can make it so simple, then when you can find the most simple minds, not advanced minds, the most advanced minds are the most simple minds.
Simple minds. Yeah.
Who don't have complications and can very, very see clearly the whole thing, the whole picture. If you bring your own complications in there, you'll be like, no, that's not how it works. I know how it works. And let me tell you and all these things. I have experience. Sorry. Experience is limitation. You can leverage it. You can be intelligent about your experiences. You can learn from mistakes and you can learn from so-called successes. But both are experiences. They're all past. Just because you had an experience doesn't mean the future is going to be like that. In fact, it's probably not.
Yeah.
So that's about it. We don't even worry about the other side of it, the state of the world, so to speak. We care about the protocols and what people do and how they do it. And that has to work for everyone. That's about it.
That's about it. It has to work for everyone.
So how do we solve all these problems? All the complicated problems that we talked about? Forget about the tech. We solve it by solving the problems for people. People have the problems. It's not like some internet has a problem. Internet doesn't care.
Yeah, people have
the problem is for people. So if you can start with make the tea for one person, you can make Starbucks tomorrow. But you got to start with the tea. The tea's got to be good. Somebody's got to want that tea, right? You got to make a positive transaction, a cash flow positive transaction, right? Even if you don't know how to make tea, but you want to make tea, you want to sell tea, you can learn everything and create and market the right sort of tea, learn everything. And then you can obviously, find and source and deliver and do all of that. Right? The intention and the clarity of what is value and to whom and how does it happen. That's about all the protocol is. If you understand that, then it will work for anyone who wants it, which is everybody wants it. They all want to be successful. They all want to make money. So why not understand how to make money? It's a protocol. Making money is a simple value co-creation protocol. It's how do you make money means you make value for somebody else, they'll pay you from that value that you created. So it's an abundance thing. It's not that I need to go and buy value from one side and I'll sell it to you for another. Therefore, I need money to start. No.
You can create value. Yeah, it's like values in the eye of beholder. We have been discussing this since quite some time now.
Values in the eye of the beholder, but you don't have to have it already with you. But if they see the value, you can go and bring it. On-demand economy, right? We're talking about an on-demand economy. So if you want an on-demand economy, why you need to think about having inventory? There's no more inventory.
It's on demand.
It's on demand and then connecting it to supply, which is inventory. I don't have inventory. Somebody else has the inventory. Right? So it's a decentralization. I don't want to hold inventory. Everybody else is holding inventory. So that's all it is, right? So we create a functioning bridge or a pipe or an internetwork that does few things. That's about it. So the solution is not to fix all the big problems of the world. No, it is just to fix the protocol layer and to build the functioning machine that will implement and run that protocol without any problems. No friction.
And that's how ShopType was born.
ShopType is that for retail. Anybody and everyone who wants sales, anybody who wants to make money from sales, right? Connects. It's not a complicated thing. It's very simple. It's a B2B2C network. Everybody wins. It's referrals, automatic money sharing. What's so complicated about it? Of course, it's complicated for people who start to think about everything else.
Yeah, but you're clear what your value is and what business is. It's not complicated
at all, ever.
Yeah, amazing. Thanks, Amit. Thanks so much. I think we'll continue the series and we'll come back to our beginning stories and few incidents back again.
Sounds good.